So we start the story out in the wilderness with these soldiers, these keepers from civilization who are, out among the savages, as they say. So our introduction to the world is kind of like, this is a big, lush, dangerous, wild place. But there are people there who are trying to conquer it in some way or another. And then we go back to the city and we spend the rest of our time there. And it's almost as if the wilderness isn't even a place these people think about. There's such a rich, involved, and versatile world inside the city. This kind of is a story of these two different worlds and how the things that are happening in this story are being handled by the people who live in those different places. Even though this is a story, kind of a story of these two worlds of the city and the wilderness and what's going on out there, we also see that it's not as simple as us versus them. It's not as simple as the civilized versus the savages, or the good versus the bad, or whatever. The good guys aren't always who you expect them to be. There's not always such thing as a good guy. So when Ricky's walking and talking and thinking, we're seeing in his head that he even sets himself apart from the slumbers that he lives among. He sees them all as having lost hope and just resigned to their lot in life. He's still got some fight left in him. He goes into the city and he sees some of the people in the city as he kind of sees obstacles and antagonism at every step, from the wilderness to, the sort of de facto law of the slums, the glass eaters and Marcus the slumlords and all that, to the keepers, to the people in Lowtown, to the people in the institution. It's like we're putting a whole bunch of pieces on the board and just getting ready for them all to begin to engage and interact with each other.
And I think one of the main reasons we wrote it that way is because we wanted to show that everybody in this, where even there's a pretty stark line drawn between outsiders and citizens and people in the city, even within that, everybody has their own agenda, everybody has their own plans that they're trying to see through. And as we get introduced to some of these other characters that are in the city and even outside the city, we see that even though you might poll the people in the city and to a person they would say, oh yeah, we're much better than the outsiders, we're different from them. Even within that, they'd be like, well, I'm also better than this guy, and I'm going to take your stuff because I'm stronger, or I want to get more power, I want to see this plan through. And even Ricky, his pamphlet is like, when are we going to get together and make this place better? He's still pointing out the differences that he has with these people.